Look, the sun, of course, is out, and you know what that means. It means the boats have been flying and flooding in. Get this, ladies and gents, almost 600 people have crossed the channel today. This is the biggest one-day surge this year. I mean, Jeevun, I thought that you guys are going to smash the gangs and all the rest of it. The sun comes out, you've lost control again.
Well, there's a lot more to do. I'm not going to try and pretend that this is where we want to be. There's a long way to go, and there is no silver bullet, right? So if I come on the show and say, look, don't worry, Michelle, I've got it. We're just going to do this thing and sort it out. You know, that's not going to be the case. Enforcement is part of it, right? Now, deportations are up. That's good news. Arrests are up. That's good news. But clearly, there are a lot of people crossing the channel. So part of it's about detection, part of it's about enforcement, and part of it's about the dealing with France as well. But there just isn't a silver bullet on this stuff. There's a lot further to go.
But I know that. I know all of that. And the figures would demonstrate that you're not grasping things currently as they stand. So do you feel, do you have faith and trust in actually the measures that you're talking about actually stopping these crossings? Because I don't.
So let me talk about, for example, the one in, one out deal with France, right? Now, it's a pilot deal at the moment, and people would say there's not enough, and I agree, there's a lot further to go, but every little does help. But if you go further and fast enough,
but hang on, then,
let's finish this one up, right? If you get it high enough, you reduce any incentive to come across, because at that point the deal is with France. Therefore, you know, if you get on the beach on the other side, actually it's going to be a cross back. So that's a good way forward.
No,
it has worked elsewhere,
but
clearly there's a lot further to go.
Yes, but you will know on the one in, one out, for example, you will know that you've had some of these people doing some kind of demented herky-jerky in and out and in and out. You will also know that we've been a net recipient in that model, and you will also know that a collection of these people now funded in part by my viewers and the other taxpayers in this country, are now trying to take the government to court for that deal. So
I can't comment about that particular court case. Obviously, I can't comment on any kind of live court case. More broadly, yeah, I agree there's a lot further to go on this stuff, right? But there's also I've not heard a single other solution from somebody who said this is the way to deal with this,
I've got a single solution. I would not allow people to make that crossing. I would put the Navy in that water, and I would make it damn clear to people at the other end, if you get on that boat and you spend all of that money making that crossing, guess what? You're not going to get to the other side. We
are not going to have the Royal Navy shoot down boats with innocent people on it.
I didn't say... hang on. Let's not
hold
be
a second.
ridiculous.
The Royal Navy is not going to do that.
I did not say shoot them down. I am not suggesting the the Navy, all the rest of it, doing target practice on these not-so-small boats. So please, let's be clear about that. What I am saying is you would have the Royal Navy presenting some kind of blockade, making it clear that these boats will not pass. These people then will be onboarded and taken back from whence they came.
So the channel is quite big, but even if you were to pick them up in international waters, the French would not say you could drop them on our shore. We wouldn't say the same thing, by the way.
How do you know they wouldn't?
Well, they would not, right?
We're living in a time of what feels like pretty significant social change, and it makes us question things that we've even taken for granted for decades. And one of those at the moment that people are wondering about is actually money. Is the money in your bank account safe? Should you be investing elsewhere? Are we looking at a potential global crash? What will it mean for your savings? Is there a way that you could be using your money that might be outside of government control even? Well, TallyMoney is potentially one solution. So I'm delighted to say that I'm joined today by the CEO and founder of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. What is TallyMoney?
Well, at TallyMoney, you basically get gold you can spend. So we give people an individual account in their name, everyday account. They get a sort code, an account number. They use that account just like they would pounds from their bank, but it's milligrams of gold that we brand as Tally.
Okay. Why would you do that, though? What is the benefit to the customer instead of just having a normal pound sterling account?
Gold's performance against the pound is above 11% per annum over the last 25 years on average. But we still need money in our daily lives, and we have savings. We know that it's good common sense and prudent to save up for things, not just living credit. You know, whether it's a holiday or a rainy day, your retirement planning, you need to have money in your life, basically, that you can rely on, that's dependable, that nobody meddles with, that nobody can weaponise against you, which is another element of government control when it's the government currency, which we could talk about another time. And it should be pretty simple and straightforward. And that's what we deliver at Tally. And really, we just want people to feel safe and happy with their money. There was a time when the bigger your bank balance, the more confident you felt. Now it's like, I need to do something with it. I can't leave it there. In Tally, you can.
OK, brilliant. Cameron Parry from TallyMoney, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bev.
If I'm a French minister, I want this problem to stop as much as Britain would want this problem to stop. So actually, Britain could come with me with a solution and said, do you know what, we're literally going to stop these crossings. So therefore, all of these people now will not be flooding into France to try and make the crossing because they now realise they're not going to be making the crossing. So in the short term, Mr Macron, you're going to receive these people back again. The medium, very quick medium term, means they're not going to be making that crossing.
But the French clearly are not going to accept that deal because they would have done so. We could take everyone who came on a boat right now. You wouldn't have to stop them in the channel, would you? You just let them come onto English shores and then fly them back. But clearly the French are not going to say that. That's just not where we are.
But how do you know? Because your starting point, the second I start mentioning the Navy, and I mention this, by the way, because I know lots of my viewers will be shouting this at the screens, the second I mention the Navy, you're immediately thinking, no, we're not doing that. We're not, no.
The Navy will not, because there's another side of it. First and foremost, the channel's pretty big, right? The second bit is the Navy vessels will not go towards an inflatable dinghy. For the obvious point, if you were to puncture the dinghy, people again could drown.
Maloney, by the way, she's got the go-ahead to be able to deploy the equivalent of the Navy there, so we'll be interested to see how that happens. But anyway, Jacqueline, your thoughts?
Well, the thing is, where do you start? I mean, we took a lot of criticism for this, quite rightly. And we have another government that comes in for more than 18 months. They ditched the Rwanda plan, which was only part of what hopefully could have started to deal with sending people back somewhere. And their raison d'etre was smash the gangs and stop the boats. We spent £500 billion they've given £500 billion to the French. Up to now. They invented the scheme called one in, one out. I think there's been 93 in and 97 out or something ridiculous like that. You're quite right, there's been quite a few people who've been deported. They are people who they'll give a few thousand quid to, and they've deported, funnily enough, a lot of them back to Albania, where we've got an arrangement in any event. They've been deported somewhere else, which appears to be OK. So in terms of really deporting those that you want to deport, they're still not doing that. Shabana Mahmood talks the talk, but she certainly doesn't walk the walk, because we're getting the same old rhetoric day in and day out. And as Michelle has said, I mean, and has been reported, you know, we've got a bit of sun comes out. There's no way that people are not going to come over. There's no deterrent. You're not producing a deterrent. You haven't come up with a deterrent because 600 people have come across just today. And so the situation hasn't improved. And so actually to sort of sit there, for the government to say, you know, it's not working. It's not working. You're absolutely clueless, frankly. And Michelle's point on the Royal Navy, well, of course nobody's going to be shooting anybody. That was a ridiculous thing for you to say to her in any event. But at the end of the day, I like what Maloney has done. And I think we're going to have to get to a position at some time where we're going to have to look at that, how we can prevent them actually crossing, and how we're going to deal with actually allowing anybody anywhere to stay once they get here.
So where would you put them? Because you would say, if you were to have, let's work something right. You've got 50,000 people who come across a year, and you want them roaming around our town centres with nowhere to sleep. No, but you've said when they come, you would just let them free. So what would we do now? Now, let's see what we have done, right? We have reduced the backlog, right? We've stopped the number of people, reduced the number of people going to hotels. And I wish those hotels weren't there. I wish we weren't spending £5 billion a year, which your government left us with. 160,000 people in the backlog. That's why we have increased the number of caseworkers and getting that down. But I say this to you now, the idea that we would just say, no, we're not going to do anything. I am not going to be in a position as a Labour MP to say we're going to have 50,000 people a year roaming around this country at a point where we don't know where they are or what they're doing, who will be desperate.
What you're basically saying, all the steps you're trying, you can't stop them.
I'm saying, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. No, that's not fair at all, right? There is a lot further to go, but clearly there's a path forward.
Has actually brought the numbers down. The highest number were last year, higher than any other year. On your watch, and whatever you're doing or saying, it's not making any difference at all.
And I've got to tell you, both of you, none of what you say washes with my viewers. My viewers don't trust either of your parties, I hate to break it to you, on these not-so-small boat crossings. And when we talk about 600 people, just so everyone's clear, this will infuriate many of my viewers because it's not just an abstract number of 600 people. This is 600 people that will now be prioritised for housing, prioritised for health services, and you name it. And you asked the question, where would you house these people? Well, one council, Gloucestershire Council, they're proposing a solution, £600 per month up to, if you house one of these people in your spare room. Is this then something that you would explore doing? Is this a potential solution to reducing the money that we're spending on hotels? Let's explore this after the break.